I'm a rich guy, but I have this great relationship with the working people of this country.
You have offended women, Latinos,
They're not sending their best.
veterans.
He's a war hero because he was captured.
You've been called crass, bigoted, obnoxious.
And his wife Melania, missing on the campaign trail, but speaking up for the first time tonight.
Your husband has come under fire for making disparaging remarks about women.
Did he make a derogatory comment about her looks?
Women all over this country heard very clearly what Mr. Trump said.
Does this bother you?
He treats everybody the same.
The first lady of the Trump empire. But could she be the country's first lady?
I don't know how to put this, but your image, looking the way you do, is that a liability for your husband?
Plus, the Trump children.
Who is his favorite?
And for the first time on TV, all his grandchildren.
Hi, sweetheart.
The softer side of the Donald you've never seen. Tonight, he's got all the real estate he needs. But what about this real estate? The White House.
For many, the White House is a step up. I'm looking around this room. The White House might be a step down.
Could this be your next first family? Meet the Trumps.
Good evening, I'm Barbara Walters. And tonight, the Donald Trump you have rarely, maybe never, seen before. Not blustering on the campaign trail, but intimate, at home. A family portrait with his wife Melania in her first sit-down interview since her husband announced his candidacy. Plus, his children and even his grandchildren. So, here is the inside look at the man who is hoping to hear you are hired instead of his signature, you're fired. For years, Donald Trump's life was the stuff that tabloid dreams are made of.
What a great honor it must be for you to honor me tonight.
The brash billionaire was a real estate mogul, married to 3 glamorous women. A best-selling author who made cameo appearances in movies.
Down the hall and to the left.
On television.
I want another 50 grand. I'll cut the grass for you every Saturday.
Hey.
Even commercials.
And yourself.
Most recently, he reinvented himself as the host of a reality show, The Apprentice.
You're fired.
Not the typical resume of a man who aspires to be president. What made you stop running? Did you have a dream? Did you get up and say, you know what, president?
The time I really thought about it was last time when Mitt Romney ran. And he ran, and I decided not to do it. And I had a lot of obligations. I was signed a contract with The Apprentice, and I had a lot of buildings under construction. I was doing a lot of things. It was sort of difficult to do it then. Now I'm in perfect, it's perfect. Although I gave up 2 seasons of The Apprentice. NBC signed me. I know, but it's still, you know what? It's a lot of money, and it's 2 years of primetime television and other things. But this time I said I'm going to do it myself.
But Donald Trump is a candidate unlike any other.
Because our leaders are stupid. Stupid people. What? Bing, bong, and that.
With his lack of propriety,
Donald Trump.
Trump has made the theater of politics popular.
The only one qualified to interview me is me.
But some say it is also less than presidential.
You used to call me on the cell.
We are in that moment today where there seems to be no distinguishing between reality TV, celebrity, and political or hard news. He is the most reality TV star of a candidate that's ever existed at the most reality TV time in America.
I first met Donald Trump in 1987. Michael Jackson was at the top of the charts. Hair was big, greed was good.
Greed works.
And then 41-year-old Donald Trump was flying high.
When you look at that wonderful skyline, do you say, I am that?
Well, I look at that skyline, Barbara, and I really say it's the greatest in the world, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
In the Big Apple, the Trump card was an ace.
Anything else you want to buy as you look out there? Any good properties that we can see?
I'd really like to buy everything if that were possible.
I bet you would. What about Central Park?
No, I think that should be preserved and left, and Donald Trump should not be allowed to touch Central Park.
A lot of people are ready to leave.
But Trump was already dreaming about his next conquest, a future far more grand than just Prince of the City.
New York developer Donald Trump charging American foreign policy lacks backbone. Is he running for something?
It was the beginning of a long flirtation with the greatest get of all.
We're going to see whether or not I'm going to run.
Are you running for president?
I have never been so serious as I am now.
Finally, after almost 30 years, the man who might be president sailed down an escalator for his surreal moment of destiny.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
His speech was one of the most jaw-dropping presidential bids in history.
Country great again. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. We have losers. They're laughing at us.
His thoughts about immigration provocative, to say the least.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall.
How do you plan to do this?
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
First of all, we have to build a wall. We have to create a border. We have to have a wall. We're going to have a wall. It's going to be a real wall, not a little wall that they drive trucks with drugs over the top of it, okay? You see the pictures in the newspapers where they have ramps right over the little wall. And it's not going to be hard to build. It's going to be done, hey, who's better at building than me? I know exactly what to do.
New fallout for Donald Trump.
Unlike any ordinary candidate, Trump didn't back off. He doubled down and set off a firestorm.
We'll call it another Trump dump. Macy's is now cutting ties with Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump.
When you send these people out, what do you do with the women and children?
They're going to go with him. Well, everybody has to go.
Send the whole
Sure, it's got to
family.
be a family unit. It's going to be done humanely.
You speak your mind, heaven knows. You have sometimes offended women, Latinos, veterans. How can you unify the country when you make these divisive statements?
Women respect me, they like me, and they know I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to protect them. The people that are here legally, Hispanics, like me because they don't want people coming in and taking their jobs.
Do you speak any Spanish?
No, this is an English-speaking country, remember?
From the beginning,
What the hell are we getting involved for? Come on.
his inflammatory comments have drawn criticism from every quarter.
Let's go, baby.
Trump's running for president? Like, this is your worst nightmare.
Could he actually win?
No freaking way!
Trump is the shock jock of the political campaign, but it's paying off big in the polls. He is now at the top of the pack for the Republican nomination. After you announced your run for the presidency, there was a cover story in the Daily News that showed you as a clown. You've been called crass, bigoted, obnoxious. Any of this bother you, or does it all?
No, nobody calls me a clown now, I can tell you that. And you're right, at the beginning they were doing everything they could. Everybody was trying to belittle because that's what they do. Now they've gained great respect because I've gone from going into a race that everybody said I wasn't going to enter, and I went being up, and now I'm leading by a lot. So I've spent less money, and I'm in #1 position. Other people have spent $30-40 million, and they're dying.
I used some words to describe you disparagingly. What words would you use to describe Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, I'll give you the positive. I've always had great imagination. I've had great success with money. But what they say is he a nice person? And I think actually I am a nice person, but I think the thing that will surprise people, I'll be a unifier. I think I'll bring people together. And that includes blacks and whites and everything. I think people will come together.
But the man who calls himself a unifier has had a divisive history on the campaign trail.
1 second.
No.
I didn't
simple
want
fact
to
is,
get
though, you cannot take-
more energy tonight. I like that. I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
You have said that one of the most important aspects in your personality is winning. Why winning? What about it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game?
I like winning better. Look, we have to win. Our
Okay.
country has to win. Our country's been losing for so long, it can't go on like this. We're not going to have a country left. I kid when I say you're going to win so much if I win the election. You're going to win so much at trade, military, every way. You're going to win so much, you're going to get sick and tired of winning. We lose every single way you can lose, we lose.
And when Paris was attacked in a violent wave of terrorism, candidate, Trump, blasted back.
If they had guns, it would have been a much, much different situation.
If you were president, what would you do to protect Americans from such an attack? Would you bomb Syria?
I would bomb wherever they are. Right now, we're being so politically correct. Nice and gentle, nice and gentle. We've got a cancer there, and the cancer is ISIS. Life means nothing to them.
France has declared a war on ISIS. Should we declare war?
I think so. Why not? Because right now, they're getting people who have this great respect for ISIS, because ISIS is getting away with murder. They're knocking out airplanes. They're knocking out nightclubs in Paris. You can't let that happen.
You have said that you could reason with anyone from Putin to the Chinese leaders. If you had an opportunity to speak with a leader of ISIS, what would you say?
You got to take them out, Barbara, and you got to take them out swiftly and strongly. As far as ISIS is concerned, that's a different thing. These people are crazy, okay? These people are crazy.
You call President Obama, I'm quoting, insane for allowing Syrian refugees into this country.
We have no idea, Barbara, who they are.
If you were in the White House right now, what would you be saying?
Oh, I would be saying, let's go, folks. And I would be getting other
Let's go,
countries.
folks.
Look, I am the most militaristic person. I will make our military so strong and so powerful, nobody's going to mess with us.
Coming up, a glimpse at a campaign trail like no other.
Does anybody want to take a ride?
And in rare interviews, Donald Trump's very own First Lady, Melania.
Is yours a marriage of equals?
His children, and even his grandchildren. Next on Meet the Trumps.